So I've actually pretty much 95% autonomy given to Fabio here with us.
Yep.
I come back and hang about just steady on certain things because he's only learning, and also there's lots of variations or different methodologies within the syntropics how you approach, and I sort of want to keep with mine because Fabio shouldn't be here forever, but he hopefully is. Depending if he can get out of the country when he has to. So he might not always be here, so I want to sort of got to keep things a bit streamlined as to how it can function for me. But yeah, he's done a fantastic job here. Yeah, so you reset. You're given a burst of energy when you do a reset, and at the moment we're focusing mainly on growing vegetables. So the trees are supporting the vegetable growing, so they're the importers, and that's the exporter. And later on, if we can have a success with the avocados, because I can't grow avocados here, the soil's not right for avocados. But the avocados are doing really, really well. You can see they're really blitzing it. So later on, we might swap it around. But I need more. If we want to continue vegetables, that's why I want to keep moving into this. So that, because I'm going to lose vegetable, because the exporter will be the avocado, so I need importers. So I can still use the bananas and stuff, but we might have to put some grasses in here for energy, importing energy. We bring in other energy from the fertility systems of the property, which is because of the biodigester. We always have compost coming through all the time. Because we feed the biodigester, you always have the outputs of that, and that's our main. So we bring that in, which some purists wouldn't allow that in syntropic because it's all meant to be happening just here. And so because it's not that far away and it's all part of its system, I'm pretty confident it's not a big detriment to do that. There's hardly any insects doing things, everything's going really, really well. Diversity is key, diversity is key with everything, but it really is brought into play with syntropics, is that diversity. And we're becoming more and more aware of that. In response to what we do, that we get a better response with diversity. It's a second most important swale on the property, I would say. This one here, we call the food forest swale. So when we walked around, we went near the end there where that spills, and then comes down through the food forest. So initially, all this was the valley, and the water all ran onto the road. And
the culvert under here.
So there's a culvert under here to get that water to travel through. And if I didn't have this for swaling, I wouldn't be able to garden here because it'd get washed away on those really large events, which we get every 5 years or so. That just trashes everything. So now it's managed, and the fertilities harvest to a point where water used to run on the road for 3 weeks. Here, now it goes down this path here and down right through the food forest and spills, and only goes on the road for 6 hours. I really like Bill Mollison's principles. So I work with Bill Mollison's principles, which are first chapter of Bill Mollison's Introduction to Permaculture book. And principle 11 is the problem is the solution, is your attitudinal principle. And this solution was the best thing I did for this property, because it's just made that take off. Before that, it struggled. Put this swale in, and within the first 6 months, you could just see a change happening. Just holding that moisture longer, and definitely the fertility. I learnt more with the other swales and then got this one in. So this one took me a while to get in. A lot of thinking went into this one.
Yeah.
And it's been a cracker of solutions. And so as you see that post there, that was the gateway. So the fence went that way, not on contour.
Yep.
And then I ran the cows in this, we call it paddock 4. Forget about all these fences here. And I found, I put a temporary electric fence along and have a laneway, and I run the cows up and down slope. And I just couldn't break that, doing that.
Yep.
And so I said, I've got to change this system. I was always worried that that big swale up there would breach
Yep.
with a big Cyclone Debbie event, and then crash our house over here.
Yeah.
And so I needed security from that occurring, and so I put this swale in, but also initially the cows are over here and I'd have to take them to the front paddock.
Yeah.
And I'd lead them, and also into here I'd lead them.
Yep.
And why didn't I put a gateway in this fence originally? This is actually a property boundary. We got 2 locations.
Okay.
And so that was sort of, you don't do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so you'd have to get the cow by the collar and come around into here, and that could be 3 trips if we've got 5 cows, sort of thing. And take them down there. So I wanted access to the front paddock. So when you do your design, is water access structures.
Yep.
That's your first, your basic ones. Water first, then access and structures. So water, got my swale, but use the water as my access, so it's my laneway.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes that's got 4 or 5 inches of water in it, but the cows don't mind. They prefer not to, but they know there's feed at the other end.
Yeah.
And so they just inhabit to go down there, so that's all right. There's you can just see a tape across the laneway. There's an access to go down the front paddock, so I don't have to, I can just open this gate here. The cows just walk there, walk back, and so it's easier. And then it's given me access further along this laneway goes further, and there's another access up into the other end of that section up there. And then, so we got, that's what the guys have been doing, is getting these fruit trees happening here. This niche that's being created at the back of our house, I want to get a food forest up there to air condition in the house, because it was exposed. And we actually get winds coming in the valley here and smashing the back of our house, so I want to get this all up. And then what I've done here is, I might regret it one day, but hopefully we don't lose that location. I'm using that lane to get up the back of the property as access to these little paddocks. So this is now goat paddocks.
Yep.
So I've still got the last one to do. So if you're doing it with only plants, you've got a whole heap of species missing that actually encourage more diversity of the plant species. So what we have here is a methane gas biodigester. So what we do is we harvest cow manure from the cow yard. So the cows come in and spend the night here so that we can harvest clean manure. And then we put it in the buckets in the morning, and we have 30 kilos. I know that I can get 30 kilos, so the system designed around 30 kilos each day. You put it into here with water, mix it up. We usually mix it before it goes in, and give it a stir, and then you pull the plug and it goes into a tank which is in the ground here, and methane gas gets naturally produced from methogens, which I don't invent, make, buy, whatever. They just turn up and they do their thing. So what are you doing again? And that's all I'm trying to ever do, is create a space for nature to work. Yeah. So you create a space here that nature can do its thing. So it's an anaerobic digestion happening there, and it gives you gas. So that gas goes to a pipe to the house, and we cook food on that gas. So it's not running hot enough. So I've tested it. It's been in winter it's been about 17 degrees with just putting a probe thermometer in. And I did it in summer, and I thought it's got to be hotter than that, but it was only about 21 degrees or something like that. And it really needed to be 35 degrees to get the optimum productivity. And so I need to get a heater into that. So I'm just going to use a hot water system, solar hot water system, and then put a solar photovoltaic panel on it on a pump, and pump a heat exchanger through in underneath there, and bring that up. Now, so we're putting in 30 kilos a day of cow manure, so that's your feedstock. So, and with that it's supposed to run a 4-person family. And I probably do get that, but we have more volunteers here at times, and so we run out of gas, particularly in the winter when it's cooled down even more. And so I'm challenged. The size of this, which is 5 cubic meters, is supposed to be in the ground here. That's the measurements I was given. I haven't measured it. And you see those ones that you can buy, those plastic ones, those tent type of things. lot less volume is going to come out of your household. So how are you going to generate enough gas from that? You might be able to boil a couple of cups of coffee or something. I might be wrong on that. The other thing is, and I have seen people put on an electric heater to heat them up, so you're using more coal energy to heat it up, so then you lose the equation on that. There's about 100 patrons plus 70 musicians here for the 40 hours, basically 2 days. And we hired toilets, and that's going into a waste system somewhere, those toilets. So, and it's money. That's leaving the situation, leaving the event, and it was amazing, raising money for motor neuron disease. And so we thought, okay, can we put that type of money into building a toilet, and then we don't have to. 1 year we spend the money on that, and then we don't have to spend any more money on something like that. And wouldn't hurt to have more toilets here as well. And then we can get into site picnics. So that's what this is about. So it's a strategy to be able to. If I have workshops and things like that here, we can accommodate more people. And the toilets we use at the moment are the small nature lifts. And so this is a bigger system. It'll be a bit more interesting, but yeah, pretty keen to. I'm doing a little bit too well. Which means taking more time, but I want it. I definitely want it to last. I love all the old hardwoods. Oh yeah, so that's the idea there. So the wheelie bins just come in at the back here. Obviously, that's not the timber that's going to go on here. So these will have seats hole cut in it. This will be a bench seat. There'll be a partition in between, and so the floor level is going to be somewhere like this high here. So I've got to put a deck out the front, and there'll be steps coming up the deck. Then you open your door, come into the loo, so side to side loo. I didn't show you the human manure, but right at the far end of the food forest is the human manure bank down there, and then so that's where it'll get tipped over there.